of the Alien. Welcome back. This is week 8 of my $2 beginner poker challenge. This week's going to be a little different than usual because I didn't play any poker at all. So there's no hands to review and there's no progress to show. Instead, I'm going to talk about why I didn't play any poker. I'll also talk about my philosophy on learning poker and why I'm moving from 888 poker to Poker Stars. And I'll talk a bit about a transition period I'm going through in my life right now. So I decided that I'm pretty much done with 888 poker. One big reason is the rake. It's just way higher at 888 than Poker Stars, especially at the small stakes. When you get up to like NL10, it evens out a bit, but the loyalty program at 888 still sucks pretty bad. And according to my calculations, you end up paying like between 1 and 3% more rake at 888 poker depending on the stakes that you're playing and the volume you put in. And that's including rake back and loyalty points and whatever. And the other reason I'm done with 888 is that their software is just complete garbage. There's just so many annoying bugs that I'm not going to get into here. And also 888 only allows a maximum of 6 tables at a time. So when I move over to Poker Stars, I'd like to see if I can try 10 or 15 tables just to see if my brain can handle it and if it will help me get to the $2,000 goal faster. So yeah, the reason why I haven't been playing poker this week is because I've been working on moving my money to Poker Stars and also getting Hold'em Manager for free. At the moment, I don't have Hold'em Manager or Poker Tracker anymore. The 30-day trials for both have expired. And I'm not going to play without a HUD, so I actually reinstalled Windows so I could get the trials again for 30 days each. And Hold'em Manager has a deal that you can get it for free if you sign up for Poker Stars through them. So I should be able to put in enough volume to get Hold'em Manager for free before the trial expires again. And I spent a few days trying to deposit on Poker Stars. It's hard because I'm in Thailand, and since gambling is illegal here, you kind of have to do some weird stuff to get money into Poker Stars. But I did manage to finally get some money on Stars. I've gotten a few questions about how I learned how to play poker and just like what I would recommend to a new player. I think it's really important that everybody starting out reads at least one foundational strategy book. And by that, I mean a book that teaches you the basic concepts and strategies in No Limit Hold'em. I think a lot of people learn poker by watching videos or reading some articles. And I think those are valuable resources, but they're not really like linked together. You know what I mean? Like you're going to be missing some concepts and there's no way you're going to know that you have all the basics if you just watch a few videos here and there and then try to throw it all together to form your poker foundation. So I think just reading a book that's designed for beginners, I think that's really important. For myself, I read Dan Harrington's book on 6-Max because I was playing 6-Max when I played with fake money, which is kind of weird because now I'm playing full ring. And I think Harrington's book was great for building a solid foundation. I also read Crushing the Microstakes by Nathan Williams, which is really good for exploiting the fish at NL2 and NL5. I also listen to a ton of poker podcasts, just like anytime I'm doing the dishes or walking somewhere or something like that. And I have about 10 or 12, but I'll just recommend a couple here. Thinking Poker Podcast, that's Andrew Brokus and Nate Mavis. They really get into a lot of intense strategy talk. And to be honest, it blows my mind and sometimes it hurts my brain. And it's usually too advanced for the microstakes, but it does really help me see how insanely deep you can dig into analysis. And I think it's a good mental exercise. And there's also Grinder School podcast. I think it's geared toward microstakes, and they usually go over one concept per episode. I don't watch many poker videos, perhaps I should, but so far I've watched some of Split Suit's videos, and that's on the Poker Bank's YouTube channel. I think Split Suit is a really good teacher. And while we're on the topic, I want to talk a bit about my philosophy on learning poker. It might sound weird for a poker player who's only been at it for 2 months part-time, giving advice on how to learn poker. But I've studied learning strategies and I have a few years of experience as a teacher. So maybe there's some value in what I'm talking about here, and you can decide for yourself. When reading a poker book, it's really important that you study it rather than just read it. You need to be taking notes and try to argue with the author in your head. Try to disprove what he's saying. Thinking critically makes your brain really think through the concept from multiple angles, and that results in better understanding and better retention of the information. Also, play with example hands and run them through equity software. Even make flashcards for things that need to be memorized and drill yourself. Like right now, I'm reading Poker Math That Matters, and I've made some flashcards to help me memorize the drawing odds and stuff like that. It's also important to make a plan on how you're going to apply the concepts that you learned, because you haven't really learned a concept until you've applied it consistently and worked it into your game. And that takes time and discipline. I think a lot of people skip this part. If you just read about a concept and take some notes on it and then you hope to work it into your game somehow, chances are you're not going to apply the concept effectively, and you'll be leaving a lot of learning potential on the table, so to speak. So for example, you might read about 3-betting light. At the tables, you might try it here and there, but in a sort of haphazard, unstructured sort of way. Now, a more effective way to learn would be to, read the information, take notes, watch videos, whatever, and then do some paperwork. Like write out your light 3-betting ranges, write out some things to look for when deciding if it's a good or bad spot to light 3-bet. And then for the next week before each session, remind yourself that this is the concept that you're working on and focus on applying it during play. Set a timer every 20 minutes or something like that to help you remember that you're trying to work on light 3-betting. And then at the end of the session, go over the hands where you 3-bet light or hands that you could have but you didn't, and analyze it. Figure out if you could have done it differently, how you could have done it better. Write out your thoughts and then work through those thoughts again and construct another plan for the next session, like how you're going to apply the concept again and maybe like tweak it a bit. How are you going to apply it differently this time? Another important thing is to review your sessions, review your hands after you play, and really spend a lot of time doing that and plug it all into equity calculators and work it through. Really try to think about the hand from different angles, think about it from the opponent's perspective, think about each street and each action that happened, like if you could have done it differently, what the results would have been. It's a huge topic, and I want to keep these videos under 10 minutes, so I'm not going to really get into it too much. So that's kind of my philosophy on learning poker at this point. And to be honest, I don't apply concepts the way I just explained very often. And that's something I need to work on. My excuse is that I've been running a business and I don't have a lot of time, but it's also lack of discipline. I'm closing down my business, so I should be getting more time to play poker shortly. And I plan to structure my learning a lot more. So during this challenge, I haven't had a lot of free time to play poker. I've only been putting in, just not a lot of hands. But I should have a lot more time to play poker soon because, to explain that, I need to tell you some background information on myself. I'm a Canadian, and I've been living in Thailand for quite a few years running my own business. But I'm shutting that business down, and I'm planning to move back home to Canada pretty soon. I'm going to go back to school. I need to figure out a career, figure out what to study. But before I move back, I'm going to have a lot of free time for poker. And I hope to put in a lot of hands and get to that $2,000 goal a lot faster than I've been doing so far. And when I move back to Canada, I might need to get a part-time job to support myself. And if I get good enough at poker, maybe poker can be my part-time job. So that's kind of my goal. I'm not sure if it's possible. I don't think I'm really that good of a poker player. I'm not sure how much potential I have. But I'm going to give it a shot and see how it goes. And since I'll have a lot of free time in this next month or two, I'm going to play a lot more poker and really focus on improving. That about wraps it up for this week. Next week's video should be back to the normal format. And this is my new Facebook account. You can see my ugly face here. And there's one person who likes me, which is myself. So join me on Facebook. It's Ev the Alien. Be the first person who's not me to like me. Or join me on Twitter. That's also Ev the Alien. You can check out my blog, which is pretty sparse right now, so maybe don't check it out. But maybe there'll be some stuff on there later. Alright guys, I'm Ev the Alien. Get eating good, and I'll see you next week.